I know. All right. Back on. Sorry, we took a little bit longer. We left off. What do we have teed up on the board? Let's go back to our conductor on this train. We had a motion teed up, and then we tabled. Yes, we tabled for further information. I think the motion was on the floor when we tabled and sought further information. So, let's see. I think we were deferring to Angie. Did you want Deputy Stallings to pick up on the request for information? Oh, there we go.
You can see on the screen that the most recent UPAC task force makeup included 11 total members, 5 board members, and then 1 of each of the following: an LEA superintendent, a former UPAC member, a PTA representative, a UEA representative, an LEA HR director, and then 1 former, or may have been current, I can't remember if it was a former or current contract hearing officer. And then you see the staff that supported that task force. Oh, he was an active contract hearing officer.
All right, thank you. Let's just get back to then what was pending, so we can bring that information back into the discussion. Do we have the motion that was on the floor? I think it was Member Davis's motion, yeah.
Yeah, whose motion was that? Was it Member Wood?
Well, we got to see if we're going there. Okay. Okay, charter directors, like you? Royce is laughing because I just voluntold you. All right. Is this? Let's see. There was a motion to postpone, wasn't there? Let's. There we go. Member Davis's motion to amend, I think, was what was pending, right? Member Davis, am I getting back to where we were? Okay. All right. So.
Amended for the UPAC, for the task force people.
Right. So I think the motion was that. Then we tabled and asked for information, which we just got. So Member Wood's motion, initial motion, is on the board. Convene a task force, including a similar stakeholder makeup as the most recent task force before addressing UPAC rules 277-210, 211, and 217 in committee. That was pending when Member Davis made the motion to amend to replace the word convene with requests board leadership create, add including a similar stakeholder makeup as the most recent UPAC task force, which we just heard about, after task force in the motion, and add at the end and bring back the task force makeup to the board for approval in November. All right, I think that brings us back to where we were. Yes? Okay, we're back. So, it's on the floor. Do we have discussion to that motion? Let me just see what hold on. Why did I not have my list? I've got Lear, Straight, Davis, and Wood, and Bogus. So, Member Lear. Oh, I'm sorry, I've lost my wingman. There you go.
So I don't know if this is necessary in terms of the leadership direction, but I would, if it's necessary, if I'm told that it's necessary by parliamentarians, I'd like to add maybe a new sentence or something that says to be convened at the end of the legislative session 2024.
So that would be an amendment to the amendment.
Or
Is
is
that
it-
in order? I think that's in
well,
order.
And or is it just, because is that something already in the control of leadership to decide when the task force begins meeting?
I would assume that's in the discretion of leadership to decide if this passes, when they start meeting.
I,
Are you-
I'm open to that. If that's true, then I'm good. I just, and you of all people would, I don't think, want to start it in January, so I would think.
Well, let's see what the body does. I think that would be in our judgment discretion to, decide scheduling. So if that's
Yeah,
satisfying
I'll
answer.
add let me add it just to help you folks with that decision, if that's okay. Or maybe not, maybe it won't pass, but, so I'd like to
Your
add.
amendment is definitely in order, so whatever.
All
you-
right, so create a UPAC task force to be convened in March 2024. To convene, yes, to be convened in March 2024. I'd like to give you more flexibility than that, but. Yes, maybe just after the end of the legislative session. That's what would be my amendment, after the end of the 2024 legislative session.
Okay, is there a second? Member Booth seconds. Discussion from the maker. Have you addressed it?
I think I already did that, saying, I know the intensity of that discussion before and the importance of having many stakeholders involved who could consistently attend. And so I think not putting that at the very busiest time of the year would be a really wise move, so that we can have the best, the best informed possible stakeholders.
Okay, member Straight.
Are we out of amendments on this one?
I think we are, so we might have to consider this one before we have any other amendments.
I'll pass it.
All right.
Comment.
Well, let's see. We've got member Davis and then Vice Chair Earl. Back to you, I think, member Davis.
Oh, well, if we're out of
for
amendments,
this.
I was going to add a member of the State Charter Board. But, no, we have a list of what the makeup was before. Oh, did I miss it?
No, it says similar.
Similar stakeholder makeup as the most recent.
All right.
interpretation. Emphasis on similar.
Okay, Vice Chair Earl.
Yeah, I just want to, the original stakeholder group, can someone talk to me, maybe Carol can, about what was the original intent? Was the intent to deep dive and relook at all of these laws and align them and put them into, do you know what I mean? Was it a real deep dive? Or was it peripheral?
No.
Member Lear, let's see. You want to hit your button? There we go.
It was very, very deep dive, and it was, the staff was great in that the staff brought us data of there have been X number of disciplines of this type, and then we had other information from other stakeholders about these were the effects of that, and it was very thorough. We looked at all of the related rules. I think there were about 4 or 5 that we looked at together so that they would be aligned with each other. I thought it was, and I didn't love everything that came out of it. Believe me, everybody didn't get everything that they wanted, but I thought it was a very, and Angie reminded me we had a professional facilitator so that nobody's agenda drove the meeting. And I thought it was just very thorough.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking that question, I'm trying to understand if what we're trying to do is a few modifications or if it's this extensive revisions. And that's why I'm trying to balance out task force versus just committee on what I'm looking at, and what the benefits or the side effects of the two are. So that's what I'm weighing out in my mind, is trying to decide whether or not this needs to be a revision or a massive deep dive, or if it's some modifications to make it better. So anyways,
Can I
sharing
just
that.
add a short
Sure.
comment to
Member
that? Because I think that's a very important question, and I think in terms of the time the board has, it's meaningful. I think what we learned in that discussion was that pieces are connected to other pieces. So while we started doing one thing, we realized that that how LEAs report information was connected to what the teacher standards were. So I think, I don't know how, I can't speak to the depth, but the connections of the pieces are very, very important.
Okay, let's see. Other lights? I don't think we have any other lights. I think we can vote. So, member leader's motion to amend is that the board add the following, quote, "to be convened after the end of the 2024 legislative session after task force" on the second line. Voting is open. Oh, sorry. And did we have I'm sorry, did we have a light on still, Member Davis?
Specific amendment.
Okay. And I've shared my concern that this would put us after the legislative session, and especially on something that's already in committee on 217, we wouldn't be able to conclude that action. So I think, are we set for, I'm just talking while we're, okay, we are up? Okay, we're up. Member Hymas, are you with us?
Yes, I will be voting no on this. Thank you.
That's, I heard no. Is that correct? It's a little bit faint, but okay. Okay, with 15 votes.
Yes, that's
in,
correct. It's a
motion
no
fails
vote.
by a vote 11-4. The yeses being Davis, Reel, Lear, and Norton. So that brings us to Member Davis's, nope, Member Woods' motion. No, Member Davis is correct, sorry. Just scrolling up. Let's see, let's go back to Member Davis. There we go. All right, so we have Member Davis's motion to amend. Any further before I read that one? Member Straight.
You know, I think I need to wait one more, so I wanted to delete 277, 211, 217, excuse me, I wasn't along. But now would not be the appropriate time for that, correct? To remove
Let's see,
217?
would that be in order? No, okay, I think
Okay.
you're right. That would wait and see if this one passes or not. Okay. Let's ask AAG Buse whether that's in order as part of Member Davis's
You
amendment.
could amend the
Member-
amendment, so we're back to doing a second amendment, or it's amend the amendment to remove 217. So it would be like a subparagraph
That would be in
4
order?
under that. It's
Okay.
amending the amendment. Since we got rid of one
Okay.
of the amending the amendments, you're now only on your second
Second
amendment.
amendment? Okay.
Yes, it is. It's in the original, all three.
It's in the original, the highlighted amendment.
Oh, that's true. It's not in this amendment. It's only in the original motion.
Yeah, do it on the next one.
Okay. Does that sound right? Okay, we go to Davis first. All right. Okay, so let's leave that up there and we'll hold, and Member Davis's is on the floor. I don't. Member Davis spoke, so I think we're ready to vote, or
I was
no?
going to amend my amendment.
Okay, so to amend your amendment. So that is in order, if it goes to the language of your pending amendment, right? Okay.
Yes, and I just want to add that the organizations in the makeup the invitation will be extended to the organization to invite their own representative. Whether it's on LEA, the head of all the LEAs, or, well, the board leadership would extend the invitation to each of those organizations, and board leadership would obviously invite 5 board members. But on the other organizations, that they would be allowed to send a representative of their choice. Maybe someone has more institutional knowledge on all of this than someone else does. extend the invitation to the organization and allow them, the organization, to send the representative. Um,
They're like, would you like to go to dinner with me tomorrow night? And I'm like, can you remind me who this is? Because I get some creepy text messages. That's a creepy message to get in the middle of a board meeting.
Well, right there.
Is that the list that was from last time? Is that where we're pulling that? It said similar, I guess, right? So, I don't know. I'm not making the motion. I just want to make sure we're tracking it. Let's see, do we have it up there? Member Davis, sorry, does that look like what you're, this is Member Davis's motion, right?
Yeah.
Does that look right? Okay, and is that the same list of groups then from, we pulled that from the last task force, yeah? I don't know who knows that, I'm just trying to make sure. Is that Deputy Stalling? And Jenny says yes? Okay, so we're tracking, this is the same list as, okay. So the requirement, Member Davis's motion, is that the board add a Number 4, stating, add a requirement the board leadership extend an invitation to the UEA, PTA, USSA superintendents, and UPEHRA HR directors for the name of the person they'd like to fill the appropriate membership position. Seeing no lights, let's tee that up for a vote. Member Hymus.
No.
All the votes are in. That fails 8-7. The yes votes being Booth, Straight, Wood, Norton, Reel, Lear, and Davis. Okay, that brings us back to Member Davis's underlying motion to amend, that the board amend the motion to replace the word convene with request board leadership create, including a similar stakeholder makeup as the most recent UPAC task force after task force in the motion, and add at the end and bring back the task force makeup to the board for approval in November. Oops. We voted on Member Davis's amendment to her motion, so now we're back to her motion. So seeing no lights, let's vote on that one. Member Hymus?
No.
Voting is complete. That motion fails 8-7. The yes votes being Straight, Reel, Booth, Wood, Norton, Davis, and Lear. Okay, let's see. Where does that leave us? Member Wood's motion. That the board convene a UPAC task force before addressing the UPAC rules R277-210, R277-211, and R277-217 in committee. Seeing no lights, we can proceed to vote on that. Oh, Member Hymus. Member Hymus.
No.
All right, Member Hymus is a no. We're missing 2. Did we get Hymus in there? Okay. Okay. All right, voting is complete. That motion fails 10-5. The yes votes are Lear, Reel, Booth, Davis, and Norton. And that brings us back to Member Hart's substitute motion. No. Where are we?
That's the next item. You're up.
So, where did that end up then?
We're now to.
Did ours, okay, so 277-10, was that, what, did we refer that to committee? Okay. And 211 without the additions. Okay, back to Vice Chair Carey then, I think. Yes, he needs to be.
Thank you, Chair. This next item comes out of a law and licensing special meeting that was held on October 3rd of this year. The item before the board is 4.2, the State Charter School Board request for exception from board-approved new school application process. And the motion before the board is that the Law and Licensing Committee recommends that the board approve a timeline exception to the State Charter School Board's board-approved process for approval of new school applications related to the American Principals Academy New School. That motion passed out of committee on a 4-1 vote.
Okay, discussion of that motion. Seeing none, we can vote.
Imus is a yes.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Four left. I don't want to call out names, though. Oh, okay. That's it? Okay. Member Reel, are you out there? All right. I don't want to miss anybody who's wanting to vote. Voting is closed. That motion passes 12-2. No votes are Norton and Lear. Okay, back to Vice Chair Carey. That wraps. Okay.